Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Makaya. All right. We are starting this live broadcast on Christos Avatar Achiwa. I am your host, brothers and sisters, Fabian Achiwakua. We can feel, yes, you resonate to these energies. We are brilliant, Indigo Child, Starseed, Pleiadian, Lyran, Arcturian, hello Syrian, Orion, what's up? We go into all of those cultures, even Lemurian, Atlantean. Wow, check it out. We have a whole nother history, and we're going there. We're learning about all of this spiritual stuff. What's that? Consciousness, energy. Wow, we're going beyond into stargates. We're learning about portals and parallel universe and inner earth. Okay, we're expanding our consciousness, our spirit, our energy, right? Yeah. And we're going to go beyond our potential. Inside of our junk DNA is this mutant superpower. Yeah, and all you got to do is acquire that resource, your resource, that is what is your matzah, yeah. Cool chiwa. It's almost like receiving an inheritance. You didn't know you had this relative who was thinking about you in this way, but they left you this large sum of money out of nowhere, and you're confused. You're like, what? But then you realize, hey, this is a lot of money. You know, and there we go. Matsachiwa. Consciousness, energy, perception. We develop those psychic powers, those inner perceptions and abilities. You are awakening. They call it DNA activation. That awakens you. That transforms you. You are going to go beyond most human consciousness. Achiwa, look at it. Look at it in the world. Surely, though, there is a portion of that population, apparently 7.7 billion, right? A portion of that is awakened, is enlightened, is extraterrestrial, but part human, mixed in with human, incarnating into the human pool, part of the now human consciousness, this 5D consciousness, which is 5D represents 5 is dimension, 5D. 4D would be, or you can say the opposite, D4. That's actually the formal way to say D, the D first and then the number. Dimension 4, dimension 3, dimension 2, dimension 4, 1, all the way up though, but just say D1 to D15, dimensions of reality. D. DU is density universe, because after every 3 dimensions is in its own capsule of time called a time cycle, a density universe, which creates time cycles, and this is learning this you would say, unified field physics. You learn about the spiritual world. You understand the spiritual. You understand consciousness. You understand God. You understand yourself. That's macro. We're microcosm. Well, we're also the macro of something smaller than us. We're made of trillions of cells. Those are conscious. Those are in the time matrix. That's made of ascended master. Everything, every particle, every little tiniest, whatever that may be, tiniest particle in existence, even that is alive. So that creates everything else. There is some subatomic of a subatomic of an atomic, nano, go down, 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 microns. Damn. You need a telescope, not a telescope, microscope. Sorry, micro of the macro. They could have called that a macroscope. Macroscope. Because you're going into the greater worlds. Here's this world that you're in. Well, you look out into greater levels. You go into greater levels. You see it on my time matrix map. Someday that's going to become famous. What's this? Where did you get that time matrix map? What's the source on that time matrix map? I'm the source. I mean, other people are going to be sharing. It's okay. You want to share my diagram? Go ahead. Just remember that I update it regularly. Like I updated it again, but I need to upload it to the site, but I have it like in my presentation. We're talking about the fifth dimension, and that's part of our reality. We're in 3D. Okay, so if there's a three dimensions, 1, 2, 3, well, 5D, fifth dimension, is fourth dimension, and fifth dimension. It's 2 more levels above most humans out of the 7.7 billion. If you Google what's the current world population, and then I got the last result was about 7.7 billion. And that must be expanding, like increasing slowly over time, or not slowly, but then you still will have wars, famines, all kinds of things that could kill people. Well, the population will go down and then have to go back out, down, up. So maybe one time, someday, it'll be down, way down, and then can't go up very fast. Now, it has historically been at the end of the human races before us, we would always be survivors. There would always be survivors that would go to 2 main ways. Two options. No, 3 actually. One option is to be evacuated with help from the higher ETs to inner Earth, or to another planet in your star system or near your star system. So they have taken us to Pleiades before. That's why, excuse me, that's why we're so friendly with the Pleiades. Now these beings are from 4th, 5th, 6th dimension. Now we're talking about 5th. This is the main dimension that we want to ascend to. We all want to ascend to the 5th dimension. Not everyone's making it. Some people are only making it to inner Earth, which is a lower world than 5D. Because it's between 4th, it's a little bit past 3rd dimension. So it's not very impressive. Not even close to freaking, because inner Earth's about 5,300 AD, okay? So that's still far in the future to us. If you ascend to, if you only have 4.5 strands of DNA, you can go to inner Earth. You can ascend to inner Earth. That means you would have to have done your entire green ray and half of your blue ray. Okay? So that's Blu-ray. The 5th dimension is the 5th dimension, which we're talking about tonight. That is what the 5th dimension is. Cool. You have 2nd, you have 3rd. We're in the 3rd, but there's a 4th dimension, astral. There's a 5th dimension, archetype. There's a 6th dimension, celestial, also called angelic. That's where a human angel, or anything that's 6th dimensional, is called an angel. It's interchangeable, you could say, with this word extraterrestrial. Angel and extraterrestrial. But to be more specific, angels, once again, are a type of race in the universe of universes, in the multiverse. You guys see my diagram, you see multiverses, more than one universe. So we're in a multiverse of 5. Our multiverse is made up of 5 universes, and that's just 5 levels of density matter. And it's very important to know that difference, because that's where you get the difference between a 6-dimensional angel and, like, let's say a 9th-dimensional archangel, which is an arc extraterrestrial, if you want to say that. It's a higher, more advanced extraterrestrial, celestial, an advanced celestial. You got celestial, and then advanced celestial would be considered, this, it's called crystal body. This is your crystal body. And actually, there's different levels of that. Okay, we got the regular crystal silicate in density 3. Density 4, you become hydroplasm, which is a crystal liquid. Liquid crystal. So you become liquid crystal, man. Excuse me, guys, sorry. You become liquid crystal at density 4. Hydroplasm, like the guy from Terminator 2. You look like this liquid mercury, but it's not mercury, it's hydroplasm. But you would say, think of electricity and water combined. Hydroplasm. A thunder, a lightning with water, mixed with water. Well, it produces this rain. I don't mean that. I mean, like, plasm with water. It's hydro. You see the Emperor, the Jedi, he had lightning, he had plasm light coming out of his hands. Well, think of that in liquid, like the Terminator dude. Liquid metal. Liquid. He was like liquid metal, right? This Terminator creature it beat up the other older Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator. That Terminator. And I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying you're like that. You look like that. Like, cool, dude. I want to be made of hydro water, man. Plasmic water. You are. That's when you're Christed, man. Well, 10, 11, and 12 are all hydroplasm. Freaking awesome, man. But then the solar rishi are called thermoplasm, which is like crystal glass. Gas. Sorry. Like we said, liquid crystal, so we'll say gas crystal. But it sounds more correct to say crystal gas, though. Okay, crystal gas. You're made of crystal gas, like a vapor. You're like a vapor, like that Terminator, but now you're more advanced. You're like one of those Terminators, but like a vapor one. Not a liquid one, but a vapor. Have you seen vapor? I've seen vapor. Vapor energies. I've seen vapor reality construction. It's weird, man. It's like you see, like you have space and then there's no space. You have space, just like you have particle, antiparticle. You have space, and the opposite of that, no space. Not inner space, that's something else. We're talking about outer space, that's another thing. Outer space, inner space. Wow, man, space-time. What's that? Glad you asked. When you go into the time matrix, you're gonna like go through time in different phases of spiritual evolution, energy evolution, because energy is spirit, and spirit is energy. You could say consciousness if you don't like the word spirit. So let's start over. Energy is consciousness, and consciousness is energy. And all this consciousness, energy, is coming from the beings outside of these worlds. It's kind of like you're the real being, and then you and a bunch of friends and whoever start playing a virtual reality game. You all meet each other's virtual avatars, virtual characters, and someday it'll be super advanced, and it'll be virtual reality, and you'll be like in surrounded by people from all over the world in virtual simulations. You're probably just laying down relaxed. Maybe you're asleep, and it's somehow some technology that you like. Total Recall. Have you guys seen this movie? The original one in the '80s was with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it was redone. Colin Farrell? Fowl? Is that his name? I don't know. He is the one that did the remake, and some couple of hot chicks. two hot girls were with him in that movie. But anyways, that was a cool movie to like this. Like you're going into a fake world, or you're like the Matrix movie. You know, you're like Keanu Reeves or his character Neo and the Morpheus and Trinity. They're all coming out of the Matrix. They're coming out of the fake world. It's like us up there. Now we're up there and we're saying, hey, I don't want to keep playing this stupid video game. I'm getting tired of it. Right? The player doesn't want to continue. Doesn't exactly work like that, but I'm saying, you know, we're all participating. Ascended Masters are all participating in the hologram. It's a bunch of beings. It's collectives, not individuals. It's an entire collectives of one. See, you have all these lifetimes. All those lifetimes are separate selves. You have other selves. You call it reincarnating, but what's really happening is you just are all in the hologram, living your lives in different time vectors until you ascend. You're going to stay in those lower worlds. Your soul family will have parts of itself in the lower density, like density 1, like us. We're the lower selves of them, of a soul being. We're not a soul being. We're an incarnate of a soul being. Yeah, we don't have a soul? We're not talking about that. That's a religion concept. You don't have soul's not something you indwell. It's not something that indwells you. This is something that is a level of consciousness, because after soul is oversoul, and after oversoul is avatar, and after avatar, finally, the last ones are called rishi, Brahma. So these Brahma, these rishi beings, I like to call solar rishi, so you know that right away it's a sun. You remember that it's a sun. These are solar beings. And that's density 5 antimatter, so which is flame bodies. Sun beings, solar rishi, yeah. A sun, a spherical entity. They all look the same. There's not much differentiation in those higher levels of spirit consciousness. Okay? But it's more than that. It's also biology and matter. And you evolve beyond carbon matter. That's a primitive thinking. Let's get beyond that. Let's think and imagine and remember beyond carbon matter that there's other forms of matter, not just one level of carbon. There's more than carbon. Hello, scientists. Hello, spiritual leaders, religious leaders. Hello, there's more than this carbon matter universe, vatos. You don't just go and send. You have different levels and dimensions and matter form. You go up, or you go down. Now you don't like being this carbon matter, or you want to go farther down into, well, what's below, what's in second dimension? Because you're gonna go from 3 into a second dimensional being. That's where you got elementals. You got elementals, you got the animal kingdom, and you got the plant kingdom, all in the density dimension 2, and then below that you go into the atomic, the tiny, the particle type stuff, way down there, So we're like in 3D right now. So if we came from that quantum level into a plant, and then we're a plant for a long time, damn, and was an animal for a long time, and then maybe we're a brownie or a sprite or a fairy, an elemental for a while, and then after we became this leprechaun or whatever, we became, ta-da, a human being. Maybe not just human, maybe you're Pleiadian or a humanoid. So it's different levels, but this is a carbon matter level. That's just one. Now you go beyond this microscopic and the elemental and now the human. You go beyond into higher forms. Like we said, you get into a carbon crystal being, a crystal being, and then a liquid crystal being, and then a gas crystal. Damn. So think of evolution on all levels, not just spirit consciousness. So it's not just consciousness that evolves in Ascension. It's body and and matter. You expand and evolve in those 5 universes. Now we're just in the lowest, number 1. If you fell, some of you are going through the ascension process. You want to go all the way down and back up. That's how Shannon explained it. You come in from the time outside the time matrix as an ascended master. You're not actually leaving or physically coming here. It's all done in consciousness. Where you're sit, if you want to call it sit, what are you actually doing as a high energy being? You don't really have an ass or a body like this, so you're like a spirit being with no body form. So you think in identity, not just as a physical looking human. It doesn't have to look like an animal creature either. You could be a shape. You could be a mist. You could be some weird looking, unexplainable type of shape or contours. Whatever contours you imagine, you design in that code. Because in this level, we can't even think of these ideas. In the higher levels, they're already accomplishing DNA enhancement, DNA tricks and upgrades, and you have all these technical upgrades and implants. You're going to live a super hyper advanced life just alone in density 2. So we really are like creatures. I mean, those are soul beings, real beings. We're just incarnates down here. Not just. It's all God. There's no difference in, you would say, spiritual integrity, No, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about how much energy can fit in a form. A more evolved being can fit more consciousness, more energy, more spirit. Therefore, they have bigger biologies. Not just them, the planet is bigger. It's huge compared to Earth, so when you go into Gaia, damn, much less Aramentana. The body form grows because the necessary upgrades for more power, more energy. That's what we mean by power. It's literal, like current. More. Like from here, density universe 1. Density universe 2. Density universe 3. Density universe 4. I can't reach that far. Because you realize you go into universal Templar, you go into cosmic levels. Machiwa. So, the topic is 5th dimension, but you realize there's much more. We show in the diagram, it's going to be like a huge diagram. A popular, I should probably do something with this diagram. Like, I don't know. Anyways, Makaye was that I'm gonna keep that free because this is like a universal tool that's necessary. So Makaye Wasuta, just know how many hours is in that diagram, and changes, improvements. Like I could show you the first one, and it's not impressive, but damn, it's looking good. Wait, I turned my fan off? What the hell? I was wondering why it was getting hot. Sorry, guys. Oh my gosh, I need my glasses though. Visionary! $20! Wow! You're so awesome, Visionary. Thank you. And also New Zealand, right? Right? New Zealand? You're so awesome. He's got this little animation of a music box that's alive and saying woot. Yeah. I like your energy, Holy One. Thank you, Machiwa. What's interesting, as we speak, there's a storm, an Arizona monsoon storm going on right now, Holy Ones. Wow. We got this energy going around. Yeah. And it's like a blessing. You're so beautiful. I gotta think if there's a way to do a poll with a multiple choice, because I want to ask you guys like a multiple choice opinion, like what time I should do my show. Like Candace was making a recommendation. Thanks for that, by the way. And but I could change it, but I would have to change. It's weird because we eat lunch around 1. I don't want to do a show when I'm full, and then if I do it earlier, I'm still doing my. I don't know. It's like wow. I'll figure it out. Makacha. This is a beautiful time. We're going to 5D, Holy One. That just is initial for 5th dimension. 5D means 5th dimension. You could say D5, but most people are familiar with 5D. We're going to 5D. If you qualify, which is only a few million. Machi. Oh, to. Oh my God. There's even less. Sixth dimension. It's raining. I can hear the rain. There's even less 6th dimension beings. Wachiwa. And then there's a certain 6th dimensional beings called the 144,000. Yeah. Callevasitas. Yeah. We go beyond, man, into these other revelations. They're not conspiracy theories. They're not like fantasy. This is actual apokoya. Even some of this originally is in another language called the Anuhazi language. And this is an ancient, original language that you would say, you think Latin is the original, but maybe of your planet. We're talking about of the whole, all beings in the universes, and I mean all the dimensions. The first one, there was a first one out of all those, and that was the Anuhazi language. So that's why some beings carry on this blue flame, emerald order alignment. You know that they believe in law of one and this emerald order, and it's like great honor to be part of that. Elohai is the highest level in our time matrix. The least corrupt, you would say. I mean, the proper word is distortion. Or distorted, the least distorted. Elohai. So it's the greatest, you would say, level for purity? I don't know. It's just that's the 13th dimension, the blue flame, which is actually, if you want to visualize it, it's pale turquoise color. Imagine a flame in pale turquoise. If you can't imagine that at first, what you could do is imagine turquoise, just regular turquoise, like bright turquoise, and then in your mind, when you get better at seeing the color in your mind, make it faded down to light turquoise. Like keep fading it down to a lighter, down to the correct, until you can naturally, suddenly just imagine light turquoise. It helps to see a shape. So if you saw a 6-pointed star, well, imagine it in the center of the earth, a pale turquoise star. Wachiwa, that's Elohai. You're connecting to the 13th dimension, the blue flame. Remember, even though it's the 13th dimension and there's a 14th dimension higher, but it's not higher. It's hard to explain. It's always going to be the most strongest. It's coming in at the 13D because it came in as this, you would say, unmanifest became manifest. Unmanifest being became a manifest being. And as soon as that being came manifest in light, because that's where it became manifest, in a 13th dimension, in the blue flame of light, it then expanded in light upwards. It entered in and then expanded up in the time matrix. Well, that's not the time matrix, but it goes into 13. Well, it is the time matrix, sorry. It goes into the time matrix at 13D, and then it goes, I mean, you enter the time matrix at 13D. That's the entry point. So all beings come into 13D first, and then you can come through the Metagalactic Core stargates, the Mintaka Orion stargates. You can come in through the stargates of Tara and Earth, and then our inner Earth, and then finally Earth. You'll take these stargates all the way down. Makachi consciousness comes in, 13D, and you can stay in there and evolve upwards. But this is always the source. And actually, she describes Ashiana Dean, my teacher. She talks about it being smaller spheres. So imagine there's smaller energy than Elohai. So we got 13 dimension, big. But out of the blue flame sphere came the gold flame sphere. This smaller. And then out of the gold flame sphere came the violet flame. So think of always the 13th dimension as being this big blue flame sun. And then you see medium size, like Papa Bear, Mama, not gender. I'm just trying to say is small, medium, large. Small, medium, large. Blue flame, gold flame, violet flame. Like what's the medium? Oh yeah, like Jupiter size, like Mars size, like Earth size. So you have 3 sizes. You have blue flame, gold flame, violet flame. Blue flame, 13th dimension. Gold flame, 14th dimension. Violet flame, 15th dimension. And I have to say, I'm aware of that there's also another flame. That doesn't stop with violet flame. There's a new flame called the scarlet flame. It's actually part of a host matrix. It's not natural in a time matrix. It's something that was kind of made, just like inner Earth is not natural. That was created. Just like the scarlet flame was created. The natural ones are the blue flame, gold flame, violet flame. I should have done it in my diagrams. I should have done it. I mean, in my videos, I showed them when I talk about these are called rishi, solar rishi. And so the three flames, and I should have put, I didn't show the correct sizes, that these two are smaller than the big one. So it's just interesting. So these three spheres, that's why the highest one came first is Elohai. The first races to come out of, well, they are Eli. The first races to come out of the Elohai, the first ones to create are the blue flame. In the 12th dimension, they created the cat people, and then the gold flame. This is what I don't understand, and I have no one to ask. I don't know why. Because remember, the gold flame the violet flame is the smallest. So why is this is my question? See, I don't know all the answers. If the violet flame is the smallest, why is the violet flame create the next race level in the 11th dimension? Why did the violet flame come before the gold flame when it created races? I want to know if there's any advanced people out there about Ashiana's work. I want to know why. Because look at it. Violet flame, blue flame, Elohai. They're first. So they created in the 12th dimension. Gold flame are next. So they should have created in the 11th dimension. But they didn't. They created in the lower 10th dimension, the reptiles and birds and stuff, insects. So why is that out of order? It bugs the hell out of me. As a Virgo, man, it bugs me when it's not in order, when the order doesn't seem right. I checked all the documents, and all the violet flame races came in 11th dimension. That's not my error. Maybe that's why subconsciously I'm saying that to you, so you don't think my diagram is wrong. Check the Pegasi, violet flame, dolphin violet